Hello, my mystic friends. I'm your astrologer, Patricia Tate. I want to share with you about Saturn retrograde now returning back into the watery sign of Pisces. This is going to happen on September 1st, 2025, which will bring all of your relationships, your stories, your patterns. All of these topics are now going to resurface in your life. In this all 12 signs astrology forecast, I want to walk you through the key aspects of this planetary transit and how it's stirring change within you. If you are new here, welcome. I blend traditional Western and evolutionary astrology in order to help you align with your soul's path. You can learn more about my offerings at willowgracemystic.com. I want to thank you for liking, subscribing, and share if this resonates with you. So let's dive in. So for my Aries friends, you're definitely going to feel this because you have Saturn, which had just moved into your first house of your identity, now shifting backwards. For you, it's retrograding back into the sign of Pisces on September 1st, 2025, and it will be highlighting all themes that have to do with dreams, intuition, psychic ability. It goes back into your 12th house, which is the house of endings. It's hidden matters. It's your own personal subconscious. And Saturn's return here, it brings these unfinished business from over the last year for you. The unprocessed grief, it brings about cycles and habits that you thought you were done with and that were behind you. The 12th house, it's about what lies beneath the surface. Remember, it's dreams, it's secrets, it's intuition, it's the deeper layers of your psyche. Saturn in Pisces, it requires you to have discipline. It wants you to focus on the stillness. So think about pausing, stopping, tuning in. It invites you to confront your subconscious patterns, to cultivate a spiritual structure for yourself. The opportunities that can come from this transit is pausing and tuning in to who you are. They lie in deepening your connection with your own inner practices, meditation, journaling, yoga, therapy, anything that can truly ground you while you face these hidden fears. You might also feel drawn to solitude as Saturn, remember, has the rings around it. It's the boundaries. It reminds you that you need to recharge in silence, to withdraw from the external noise of life. This retreat is not about isolation. It's here for a recalibration for yourself. Saturn here, it's deepening your connection with your own inner practices. Think about meditation, journaling, and therapy that can ground you while you face these hidden fears. And so looking at this and saying, I need to turn inward. Saturn, it wants you to understand the importance of the fence around the yard, of the rings around it, of the boundaries within your own self, to avoid escapism, because Neptune, Pisces, it blurs, it blends. And so instead of using the escapism, focus on Saturn's structure in order to create daily rituals that you can focus on your own healing, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. Confront illusions or self-sabotaging behaviors within you directly with compassion but firmness. Own it. I do that. I got to sit with it. I got to own it. This is going to be a time for you to honor rest without guilt, to release the karmic burdens. When Saturn goes back here, it's literally breaking the chain from your past generations in order to heal them, and so you don't pass it on to future generations or future lessons that you need to work on. And so you focusing on this is accepting the endings as gateways. The work here is not going to be glamorous. It's truly alone, but it's extremely liberating for you. When you emerge next February, you are going to be stepping into Saturn in Aries, your first house of yourself. Lighter, cleaner, more aligned with your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, and your goals. So a mantra for you can be, I honor endings, release the illusions, and trust the wisdom that emerges in silence. So for my Aries friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Taurus friends, on September 1st, you are now going to have Saturn go back into an area of your life. It's your 11th house. The 11th house represents, it's activating your friendships, your communities, your networks, your long-term goals, hopes, wishes, dreams, all of these topics. This is a return to go back to unfinished business around your social circles, around your dreams that you hold sacred for your future. Saturn here, it demands discernment. It wants you to look at which groups that you are associated with, for personal or professional, that truly align with your values. It wants you to take a look at what no longer serves your own personal evolution. In the sign of Pisces, the lesson is to see the past illusions in order to create meaningful, spiritually aligned connections for the future. The opportunities that come from this transit are you truly solidifying what is your role within the collective, people that you want to be part of, groups that you want to be part of. These are work associates, these are personal star family or social circles groups. This is something that's for the bigger, like volunteering opportunities. You might take on a leadership role or responsibility within a group, or you might step away from communities that you feel like are draining your energy. Saturn here will say, this is the area of our life that we need to refine our goals. It asks you to reimagine what are your long-term visions really, and who should walk beside you as you're moving on this path. Be intentional with your connections at this time. Saturn retrograde, it wants you to stop and pause. It wants you to set these boundaries where friendships kind of have blurred, because in Pisces, it is foggy. Sometimes it's unclear. And so notice where possibly you have overextended yourself, or that you have clung to groups for security. Commit instead to circles where there is reciprocity in the energy or the time or the effort that is given and received, and that you have this shared vision. This is also a time to review your dreams, your goals. Are they yours, or are they ones that you inherited from others? You know, like that, come along, let's do this. Choose carefully at this time the people and the projects that you invest in, because this is going to shape your unfolding path as you move forward. So my Taurus friends, a mantra can be, I call in aligned partnerships, friendships, collaborations. Honor my vision and choose connections that will uplift my soul. So for my Taurus friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Gemini friends, you now have Saturn moving back into the highest part of your chart, your 10th house. Saturn moving back into Pisces, this is bringing back a revisiting of a lot of themes that have to do with your career, your reputation, your personal life's direction. This brings back into a focus for you unfinished business from possibly professional responsibilities or your public roles, responsibilities of that could be for home or could be for work. It has you sitting in the limelight where other people can see you. Saturn here is going to ask you to confront authority, whether being one of an authority figure or responsibilities that have to do with relating to authority figures like a boss or figurehead. Saturn here asks you and it invites you to refine what is the path that you're on. This is the time to go back, rethink, review, revise, refocus. Whether it's you relating to a job or inviting you to move along from your job. This could be shifting something that has to do with a career or a legacy that you would like to leave behind. In the sign of Pisces, the task here is to ground in your dreams into something that's more tangible, the reality, the weaving vision of what you have with the responsibility in which you have, that you need to have. Like it's saying, I have the idea. How do I manifest this? Saturn says, let's have goals, short, middle, and long-term goals. The opportunities of this transit, they truly come with solidifying your professional identity. You might be tested within your career. This could be projects that now come back, or this is about delayed gratification, delayed recognition, or there could be unfinished responsibilities that now come back up that have to do with home or family or something that it's you being responsible, you being the authority figure. And so Saturn wants you to build a foundation that's going to last. This is not about chasing the quick success, the quick fixes. That is not Saturn at all. Clarity around your vocation, around your role within the world will grow, but it requires patience and time and integrity. And so revisit your commitments. Look back at what you've made or promised professionally, whether you have overcommitted or whether there's boundaries that just seem too fluid, too porous. Saturn in Pisces is asking you to let go, to release these old patterns of seeking out validation, and instead to anchor into purpose-driven service. Saturn wants to create things that are sustainable, to avoid escapism within your career matters. To dream without action is instead wanting you to create a schedule, something that has structure to it, that supports the steady building of your ambitions. It's knowing what you want to do in here and saying, I cannot escape. I cannot pass this on to somebody else. I have to create something that is sustainable. And so it's you embracing mentorship or guidance. Saturn wants to bring these wise people to you. And above all, it wants you to commit to the long game. And so, Gemini, a mantra can be, I align my purpose with integrity. I weave my vision and responsibility into lasting success for myself. So my Gemini friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out the video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Cancer friends, Saturn moving back into Pisces is in a fellow water sign. You are Cancer, a water sign. So this is a harmonious aspect. It's working together with this energy. For you, Saturn is retrograding back into your 9th house. It is reactivating your house of beliefs, travel, higher education, religion, spirituality, cross-cultural experiences. This is going to be a return to go back to unfinished business, unfinished growth, or expanding your own worldview. Saturn here is truly pushing you to examine what you consider to be the truth. It's going to test your philosophies. It wants you to ground in your spiritual practices, because in Pisces, the challenge is to release the illusions while honoring the inspiration. Now, The opportunities of this transit, because Saturn says this is an area of your life where we have to go back, review, rethink, revise. And it can happen with topics that have to do with education or legal matters, traveling, teaching, publishing. It wants you to go back to these themes. You might revisit a course of study. You might finally publish that long delayed work that you've been working on, something that you put on the shelf and say, I need to take it off. I need to finish this. Or you might refine your own spiritual path. Saturn rewards commitment. So whatever you're pursuing right now has this potential to truly become a lasting foundation for wisdom. Look to review your belief system carefully. Know that what you are working on, Saturn retrograde is saying, do these philosophies truly serve my growth? Or have they become these limiting structures? Because remember, Saturn has these boundaries and Pisces is dissolving. And so look at this as, I need to look deeper into the philosophies and look at this and say, I have to be cautious, because am I clinging to these vague ideals without grounding them into my own lived experience? This is going to be a time for you to truly discipline your spiritual practices, to study, to meditate. This could be go somewhere, revisit a place that you feel connected to. This could be like a pilgrimage. This is going to be a time for you to really look at your real life and know that you have to integrate. You can't just walk it. You have to talk it. What do you know to be true? How do you integrate that into your day-to-day living? Saturn reminds you that spiritual growth, it's not an escape. It's about the embodied responsibility. So be open to teachers or mentors that show up and appear to you. As Saturn, it wants to guide you towards wisdom, but it wants you to have the discipline of what did you start? Now let's make a plan. Let's make a goal, short, middle, long-term goals in order to finish these things with discipline. Anchor your truth in the action to move forward. And so, Cancer, a mantra for you can be, I ground my beliefs in lived wisdom, opening to truth with patience and my own integrity. And so, Cancer, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Leo friends, you now have Saturn dipping into an area of your life that is very intimate and personal. The 8th house is the house of intimacy. It's the house of shared resources. It's the house of transformation, birth, death, rebirth. It's the house of where we are connected or merged with other people. And so this will be a chance, an opportunity to return to unfinished karmic lessons, something that has to do with trust or power or vulnerability, either on your part or on the part of other people that you are in connection with. Saturn here, it asks you to take responsibility for debts. These can be both financial and emotional debts. And for you to truly step up and to face your own fears around loss or control. Because in Pisces, this transit, it's truly emphasizing surrender. I mean, that's the end of the lesson. This is about Pisces wants to let go, let flow. And so when we do surrender, we can release the illusions that and embrace our own process of trusting in the unseen. Because in Pisces, we are taken wherever the water takes us. We don't have control. We cannot we don't have an agenda. The direction is determined by the tide. And so the opportunities of this transit, they bring about a restructuring around possibly some of your shared resources, alimony, child support, debt, where you have your money, your effort, your time, your energy invested with other people, places, and things. This is also an opportunity to heal the deeper relationship patterns that you have with others, because Saturn in Pisces, it brings clarity to about investments, about inheritances, and it's this the give and take within partnerships, and wanting to have this clear vision of who has the power, is everything fair and equitable, is this contract healthy for both of us. On a soul level, this is the house of transformation. This is about you saying, I have to shed these layers of fear in order for me to emerge more empowered. And it's fear, it's control, it's all of these topics. And in order to transform, it's letting go of those things. Saturn retrograde here, going back, it's emphasizing the need for you to have boundaries within your intimacy, within your resources. This is also energetic boundaries. Notice where you have these energy exchanges with others that they have been out of whack or unbalanced, and avoid drifting into denial about your own financial responsibilities or relationship patterns. Instead, use this time over the next several months to take an honest, disciplined look at what has to change within you, what you own, what you need to own, and how do you go about turning it around and fixing it. Look to commit to doing the shadow work. That's through therapy, through journaling, through spiritual practices, in order to heal the fears of abandonment or the fear of loss. This is going to be a time that you're going to need to tune in to focus on courage within the surrender, because Saturn here is inviting you to face the endings with dignity, and to look at this as a time of a rebirth for your own inner strength. By releasing what binds you, what holds you, you can therefore reclaim your own power. This is you stepping into your own divinity. So a mantra, Leo, can be, I release fear and honor the transformation and reclaim my strength through trust and surrender. So for my Leo friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Virgo friends, if you are the Virgo, Pisces is the opposite part of your chart. It is you with everybody else. Business partners, significant others, clients, open enemies, exes, contracts, negotiations. It is agreements, whether they're verbal or written. Having Saturn move back into that area of your life, it's returning to your 7th house, and it's saying, I need to address some issues with my one-on-one relationships, my one-on-one connections. This is a return for you to address unfinished lessons about commitment, boundaries, responsibility within these relationships. Saturn here is really going to test the structures of these partnerships. It will therefore then bring you clarity about what is built on a solid foundation and truly what's not. Because Pisces is watery, it's sometimes unclear and foggy and dreamy, and things can drift away. And so the opportunities of this transit, they come in you refining your approach with connection, personal, professional, collaboration, all of your connections. This is a chance for you to go back and review, revisit, redo. Saturn can really, at this time, highlight where commitment within partnerships can deepen, or where there has to be endings that occur. This could be a client no longer needing your service, a friend moving away, or a disillusionment or a dissolving of a friendship or a partnership. In the sign of Pisces, the lesson is to balance compassion with the discernment that Saturn can bring. And so it's, are you seeing people clearly, not through like rose-colored glasses or like beer goggles? So this is Saturn going backwards, retrograding, and calling for you to have this honest review of all of your relationships, all of your one-on-one relationships. You asking, where have I taken on too much responsibility? Where have I avoided responsibility? Boundaries, they're very essential. And yet Saturn in Pisces, it asks us to look at, are the boundaries rooted within compassion, not in rigidity, because Saturn can often bring that. So look to avoid projection or like of your ideals onto others. See who they truly are, like taking off of the glasses and looking at things clearly. This is going to be a time that you're going to want to revisit agreements, contracts, look for these clarifying roles. And if you are single, this is going to be a chance for you to truly refine your understanding of what does partnership look like? What are you truly looking for within partnership? Whether it's endings or renewals, Saturn is saying, I need to grow up. I need maturity in this area of my life, patience, honesty. Lean into the spiritual practices that strengthen your heart while guiding you to build healthier, more aligned relationships and partnerships. Virgo, a mantra for you can be, I honor my boundaries with compassion, building relationships that reflect truth and mutual respect. So for my Virgo friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Libra friends, you now have Saturn leaving your house of partnerships, and now it's dipping below the horizon here. It's moving back into your 6th house. This is in the sign of Pisces, so it's going to shift your attention to your health, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional well-being, your work routines, balancing it, and your service to others, wanting everything to be fair and equitable. Now, this is a return and saying, I have some unfinished business that I need to take care of within my own daily tasks, my responsibilities, my relationship with my mind, my body, my spirit. Saturn here is going back and saying, I need you to take your health, your well-being seriously, spiritually, mentally, psychologically. It's going back into this area of your life and saying, do I need to tap back into a counselor, a mentor, a guide, be open to alternative healthcare and healing practices and modalities? The opportunities of this transit come with the restructuring of your work life, the refining of your skills, or setting healthier routines for yourself, because this is the house of where I have a daily plan, not just, it's also balancing my home with my career. And so Saturn can highlight and bring into focus something that has to do with health issues that you might need more disciplined attention or a focus on, or it can reveal within your daily commitments where you're kind of out of sync or out of alignment. In the sign of Pisces, the focus is going to be you integrating compassion and your spiritual practices within your service, nurturing and caring for yourself, and also supporting others. Having Saturn stationing retrograde here, it's going to remind you that all of these little small steps, they create the lasting transformation. It's not about saying, I'm eating meat and now I'm going to be vegetarian. No, this is saying little steps, create short, middle, long-term goals for yourself. So instead of overwhelming yourself, building these steady rhythms of habits that can honor both your productivity and the need for rest. Review your relationship with service. Are you giving too much without taking time out for replenishment? Saturn, it teaches us boundaries, even within caregiving, because if we're giving too much, that's a form of slavery. It's giving where it's not reciprocated, not appreciated. So avoid neglecting your own health and dismissing your own body's signals, paying attention, like truly tuning in and saying, what is my body telling me? Instead, cultivate holistic daily practices. This is mindfulness, nourishment, the need for movement. At work, be patient as projects kind of resurface or these delays occur, because that's what Saturn does. Saturn wants you to refine your skills with diligence. This period, it can feel really heavy for you, but look at it as an invitation for structure within your life in a way that truly can sustain you for the long term. And so, Libra, a mantra can be, I honor my body, and I am refining my routines and service with balance and integrity. So for my Libra friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Scorpio friends, having Saturn slide back into a fellow water sign, the fifth house for you is in a harmonious aspect for your first house of identity. The fifth house brings topics of your own inner child, art, beauty, music, love, joy, things that we create, things that we give birth to. And so for you, having Saturn retrograde back into this, touching on all of these themes of creativity and romance and joy, this truly signals unfinished business in how do you express yourself? How do you pursue passions? How do you connect and tune into your own inner child? Saturn here, it might have limited joy within the recent years. And so this is teaching you discipline in creativity and responsibility within romance. The opportunities of this transit is in you pausing and refining these creative projects, you deepening your commitment to children or to loved ones. Remember that the fifth house is the house of lovers. And so this could also be you channeling your passions into forms of meaningful expression, because all work and no play is not healthy for you. In the sign, it's not healthy for anybody. Just throwing that out there. But this is a focus that's for you. And in the sign of Pisces, Saturn is asking you to merge your own imagination with structure, ensuring that your dreams, they can literally take form. Saturn retrograde here, it's asking you to pause, to reflect. Where have you stifled your joy? And where have you avoided responsibility in manners of love and creativity? Avoid escapism or waiting for inspiration without discipline. So it wants you to instead build these daily practices for creative growth. With romance, be clear about your boundaries. Be clear about what your intentions are. Because Pisces, it can blur the lines. It makes things foggy and unclear. And so Saturn insists on having clarity. So take responsibility for your happiness and engage in activities that can truly help you to align with your soul's purpose. Joy is not frivolous. It is essential. By balancing play with discipline, you reclaim creativity as this force of transformation. Saturn's gift here is teaching you to sustain the passion, not just chase fleeting pleasures. So, Scorpio, a mantra can be, I honor my creativity, love, and clarity. I am here to embrace joy as my sacred responsibility. So for my Scorpio friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. To those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Sagittarius friends, you now have Saturn going to the bottom part of your chart. I always say it's like the cradle. It's our home. It's our family. The fourth house is our living situation. It's our personal life. It's our roots. It's our traditions. It's our genealogy. It's what anchors us into life. And so for you, Saturn retrograding here back into Pisces is truly highlighting your home, your family, your foundations, saying, right here, look right here, we have unfinished business. This brings any unfinished lessons around your roots, ancestry, emotional security. It brings them to the surface in order to reflect, refine, and to deal with before it moves direct. Saturn here demands responsibility within your own personal and private life, perhaps caring for a family or resolving old patterns, or it's about redefining your sense of belonging. The opportunities that come from this transit, they come in the form of creating stability within your home. Saturn in Pisces, it can highlight some illusions around familial roles, asking you to confront the truths with compassion, like to take off the rose-colored glasses or the beer goggles and saying, I have to be able to see this clearly in order to understand what is my role, what is my part. This is a chance for you to truly heal generational patterns, to build emotional foundations for yourself for the future. Saturn retrograde here, it really emphasizes facing your responsibilities rather than avoiding them. Be honest about what your family or your living situation requires. Where have you avoided boundaries with family members? You can ask, where have you resisted creating stability for yourself because it's just easier to not? Pisces may tempt escapism, but Saturn, it asks for maturity. It asks you to commit to building a structured foundation for yourself, whether it's emotional or material. This is also a time for you to reflect on childhood wounds. Acknowledge, like really sit down and say, how has this shaped me into who I am? And then to release the hold, because Saturn, it's asking you to step into adulthood fully. It's saying, I need to honor my roots while building my own ground. Spiritual practices at home, ritual, prayer, mindful space keeping can help anchor you in during this transit, my friends. And so Sagittarius, a mantra can be, I create foundations of strength and compassion, honoring my roots while building my own home security. And so Sagittarius, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Capricorn friends, Saturn is your chart ruler. It's always important to follow where is it going and what is it doing. So Saturn has left your home and is now shifted back into your third house. The third house for you is all types of communication and learning, and it's your daily environment. It's who you talk and share and exchange ideas with, neighbors, siblings, cousins. It's your local community. And so this transit is asking you to go back and look at all unfinished business around how you speak your own truth, how you handle responsibilities within your community, or how you manage your own mental patterns. Remember that this is how I take in information, process it, and then share it back out into the public. Saturn here, it tests your clarity, and it wants discipline in expression. Now, the opportunities that can come from this transit, they appear in you refining your communication skills, revisiting contracts, recommitting to a course of study. There could be times that you could be facing delays that involve writing or speaking. Remember, it's thoughts, ideas, it's taking it in, but it's who do I share it with? And so Saturn says, stop, pause, make sure it's accurate. Let's do this again. It wants it to be correct. It wants it to be perfect. Saturn wants you to do this because this is its way of ensuring that quality is the output. In the sign of Pisces, the lesson is to merge your inspiration with a form of structure, speaking your truth with kindness and compassion. As Saturn retrograde, it asks, are your words aligned with your own integrity? Are you speaking your truth? Notice where you have been vague or possibly avoided responsibility within communication. This is a chance for you to really refine your message to ensure that it's both truthful and that it's kind. Be mindful of the mental patterns right now. Avoid drifting off into worry or distraction, because Pisces wants to dissolve. It wants to daydream. So instead, look to create structure around learning or in your day-to-day routines. Look for your relationships with your siblings or neighbors that they might require some type of boundaries, whether it's physical or energetic boundaries, or a type of maturity, because Saturn wants you to say, how can we have this grown-up relationship, or what do I own in this? Use Saturn's discipline and strength to ground in your dreams and into a form of language. It wants you to commit to practices that can bring focus and clarity for you. It wants you to strengthen your mental habits during this last bit of bumping back into Pisces. It wants you to anchor your ideas into form, short, middle, and long-term goals. That's what Saturn wants. It wants you to work with patience. Your voice, it can become stronger, more resonant, and more trustworthy. So Capricorn, a mantra can be, I speak with clarity, I listen with compassion, and I honor the power of my words. So for my Capricorn friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. To those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Aquarius friends, Saturn is one of your chart rulers. And so it's always important for you to be following where is it going and what is it doing. And so for you, Saturn is retrograding back into Pisces. This is your second house. It revolves around topics of your money, your cash, your property, your talents, your skill set. The second house is, what do I need in order to be safe and secure? It has to do with your pleasures, your belongings, your actual resources. And so it moving back into the sign of Pisces says, I need to go back and redo some things that have to do with my finances, my values, my self-worth, and it will signal this unfinished business within how do you earn? How do you manage your resources? How do you anchor your sense of stability and security? Saturn here, it's really going to test your relationship with security and your ability to build these lasting foundations. Saturn wants to build or create things that last over a longer period of time. It's not the quick, rich fix. So the opportunities of this transit come in you restructuring your finances, possibly creating a sustainable income, or clarifying your values. Saturn rewards discipline. It wants you to budget, it wants you to save, or rethink your priorities. It wants you to build this long-term belief systems. In the sign of Pisces, the lesson is not to chase the illusion of worth, but to ground in what can truly sustain you and to be able to build upon that. Saturn retrograde here, it's asking you to take responsibility for your own financial life. Where have you avoided discipline? Where have your boundaries around your possessions or your self-worth been unclear or dissolved or lost or let go of things? Avoid escapist spending or vague goals at this time. Pisces, it tempts the drift, but Saturn insists on clarity. Use this time to build these financial practices that are rooted in integrity, that are aligned with your personal values. Beyond money, this is also about your self-worth. Reflect on where you have tied your value to external measures and instead look to anchor in what is your spiritual worth. Build confidence through steady, intentional action because Saturn rewards that. Saturn teaches us that security is not found in illusions, but it's grounded in discipline, the disciplined stewardship of your resources. So Aquarius, a mantra can be, I honor my worth, steward my resources with care, and align with what truly sustains me. So for my Aquarius friends, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. And to those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much because it is your energy that fuels my journey. So for my Pisces friends, this transit will be very, very personal for you. Saturn is dipping back into your first house of your identity. The first house is like your business card. It's your website. It's who you are, who you present to the world, who you show, your personality, your appearance, you being seen, your outlook, your desires, things that you want to launch, things that you want to do. And so for you, it's revisiting your house of self, identity, your personal direction. Now, this is going to be it's going to be deeply personal for you. It says, I need to tap back into any unfinished business around who you are and how you carry yourself into the world. All of these topics are going to resurface. Saturn in your sign, it was already here and you thought that you had all these lessons done, but it brings lessons of responsibility and maturity. And so now retrograde, it's asking you to internalize and to refine these lessons, to stop and pause. The opportunities that can come from this transit is strengthening self-mastery for you. This is a time to take ownership of what is your path, what are your goals, refining your personal image, and align your actions with your authentic self. Saturn in Pisces is about you grounding your dreams into reality, you shaping your identity with purpose. Saturn retrograde, it asks you to have patience and honesty with yourself. Avoid drifting into old patterns because it's Pisces. It's wanting to dream, to let go, to not have to do that. So avoid drifting back into old patterns or self-sacrifice or vagueness. Instead, claim responsibility for who you're becoming. Boundaries are going to be essential for you. This is physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, all boundaries, because Pisces dissolves them, and Saturn insists that you define them. So reflect on your goals, on your commitments, pruning what no longer aligns for you. Look at this as a time to truly take yourself seriously. Even if others don't see that growth in you yet, create these daily practices that affirm your identity, balancing compassion with discipline. The world will meet you with more respect when you embody your integrity fully. So for my Pisces friends, a mantra can be, I take responsibility for my path. I embody the truth and I honor the strength of my becoming. So for Pisces, thank you so much for being here. For more on this transit, check out my video for the collective energy and what to expect. To those of you who have subscribed and continue to support my channel, thank you so much because it is your energy that fuels my journey.